Question 21 is really about contingent assets, contingent liabilities and provisions. And what it does here is give us a slight scenario as a kind of background so that we can work out what the correct treatment in the financial statements would be. So here we're looking at a company PC which is being sued by a customer for supplying faulty goods. So the lawyers believe that the claim will be successful and therefore we do have a liability which we need to consider making provision for. However, the lawyers are also confident that a counterclaim can be made against PC's supplier and that the full cost of any damages will therefore be recoverable. The recovery of that cost would therefore be a potential contingent asset, and again we need to think about how that should be presented. Finishes off by telling us that the current estimate of the damages, both payable and receivable, would be $100,000. So in terms of the contingent liability, in order to think about whether a provision should be made, we need to consider whether we meet the three key conditions, which is that there is an obligation for us to make a settlement, that there is a probable outflow of benefit from us, and that it is possible for us to reliably measure the actual costs that might be paid. In this case, it would appear that the claim by the customer meets all three of those conditions, and therefore a provision should be made for the $100,000 that we're likely to have to pay out. However, with the contingent asset, the conditions are slightly different. The only time that a contingent asset would actually be accounted for and made as a provision would be where the receipt is virtually certain. In this case, whilst the lawyers are fairly confident that the claim will be successful, we cannot be virtually certain, and so all we would do in relation to the asset is actually disclose the possibility of recovery. So looking at our four options as our answers, the one which appears to be correct is the third option, which says a provision should be made for the damages payable only, resulting in a reduction of the profits for the year of $100,000.